She said this man did not look like a tourist. This sighting became known as the Tanner sighting, and this gave police at least a timeline of Madeleine's disappearance. Ultimately though, the Portuguese police deemed this sighting as a red herring, and they concluded that the man Jane saw was likely just another tourist also on vacation, who had picked up his child from the resort's nighttime daycare. I guess this man's daughter also had similar PJs as Madeleine, and after mimicking the same pose with the same type of outfit, authorities stated they're almost certain that this sighting was not related to her abduction. After this though, another possible sighting was reported, which did hold some weight. This became known as the Smith sighting after the last name of the couple who reported it. At around 10 p.m., the couple reported seeing a man about 500 yards from apartment 5A carrying a little girl who they thought was around 3 or 4 years old. She looked strikingly similar to Madeleine, and this man was carrying her towards the beach. This man looked to be in his 30s, around a 5'7" with a slim build, had short brown hair, and again did not look like a tourist. The couple said this man seemed uncomfortable carrying this child, like she wasn't his. So police then started questioning if this was a planned abduction, or possibly a burglary gone wrong. Apartment 5A was accessible to the public from two sides, one being the sliding glass door that was left unlocked, which anyone from the public street could walk into. All you had to do was open a small gate and walk up a set of stairs to get into the living room. The other was the front door, which was supposedly locked, and there were no signs of forced entry. The window in Madeleine's bedroom was a point of contention because it could only be opened from the inside, and again there were no signs of forced entry there either. But the window did overlook the walkway and parking lot, which was separated from the street by a low wall. Anyone off the street could walk back there. There were a lot of odd sightings of sketchy men kind of casing the house, and in the weeks leading up to Madeleine's disappearance, the neighborhood experienced a lot of burglaries, and on top of this, that exact apartment, 5A, had been broken into before, with the most recent being the guest that rented it right before the McCanns. So this was a real possibility that Madeleine was a victim of a planned abduction. But then the Portuguese police started looking at Jerry and Kate, Madeleine's parents, and this was for a few reasons. Their stories had a lot of inconsistencies in the beginning, including their friends' accounts of what happened. One question was why Kate felt comfortable leaving her twins alone after discovering Madeleine had been kidnapped, instead of just calling for help. Police then brought in sniffer dogs to search apartment 5A. When they searched the apartment, the dogs alerted to an area behind the sofa in the living room, the closet in the main bedroom, on Madeleine's stuffy, and on some of Kate's clothes. Then the sniffer dogs were taken to a parking lot with about 30 cars, including the McCann's car that they had rented 25 days after her disappearance. Dogs then alerted to the outside of the McCann's car by the driver's side door, and again in the trunk. Forensic tests then found traces of Madeleine's blood and hair in the trunk, and because of this, they were listed as possible suspects.